Hi boys and girls, this is Mr. Yates. In this video, we are going to go over lesson 11.07, which is converting customary units of capacity. We're going to go over how we found each one of the answers. Make sure that you're checking your answers and make sure that if you do make mistakes, write down what happened, copy error, reading error, calculation error, then fix your mistakes and write the correct answer. And if you need to recalculate it, make sure you're doing that on your paper as well too. For number one, I took 16 cups. And that's going to equal 8 pints. And I just divided 16 divided by 2 to get my 8. The 2 is the number of cups that are in 1 pint. On number 2, I had 64 fluid ounces. 64 fluid ounces needs to be divided by the number of fluid ounces in 1 cup. And that equals 8. So 64 divided by 8 equals 8 cups. On number 5, let me erase some of these extra marks here. On number 5, I was taking quarts and I was converting it into gallons. Since quarts are bigger or a smaller unit of measurement, let's see, shakes, buys, donuts, that means smaller to bigger. I'm going to divide. So I'm going to take that 5 quarts and I'm going to divide it by the number of quarts that are in 1 gallon, which is 4. I'll end up with 1 gallon and a remainder of 1. For number 4, I'm taking again quarts and I'm going into gallons. This time I'll be taking 18 quarts, and dividing it by the number of quarts that are in 1 gallon, which we just said previously was 4. 4 times 4 is 16. I'm going to end up with a remainder of 2. Now, here's how I ended up with 1/2 or 4 5/10 gallons. I could have taken and done a decimal party. Since they really didn't give us a space for a remainder here, we're either doing a decimal party and keep it on going, or we're going to be doing a fraction. If you did a decimal, we just make a decimal dot here. Drop down that additional 0 that we annex. 4 times 5 equals 20. 20 minus 20 equals 0. And that's how we end up with 4 5/10 gallons is equal to 18 quarts. The other way we could have shown this is we would have taken the 18 and still divided it by 4, the number of quarts in 1 gallon. We would have still used 4 times 4 equals 16. We would end up with a remainder of 2, and here's where we turn that remainder into a fraction instead. We take our 2 and place it up as our numerator. Our 4 becomes our denominator, and let me do some zooming so you can see what's going on here. Now, I want to reduce that fraction down, so now it becomes 4 1/2, because 1/2 is an equivalent fraction to 2/4. And that's how I ended up with 4 1/2 here as my answer for number 4. The same thing is going to be happening over here on number 5. On number 5, I took 7 cups and I went ahead and I divided it by the number of pints or number of cups that are in 1 pint, because I'm going from a smaller unit of measurement, which is cups, into a larger unit of measurement, which is pints. I know that there are 2 cups in every pint, so I'm going to take 7 divided by 2, and I will get 3 and a remainder of 1. But there is no remainder here in my answer. So what I had to do was basically when I divided it out, I had my 3. 2 times 3 is 6, remainder of 1. I can turn that into a fraction. 3 in 1 is my numerator. 2, which is my divisor, becomes my dividend. That's why I ended up with 3 1/2 pints is equal to 7 cups. Number 6 was a case, and I'll clear out this. I'll show you what I did here. Maybe I'll move this up. Now, number 6, what I had to do is I took 16 pints in 1 cup, and I wanted to convert that all into cups. Now, the 1 cup here is already in cups. That's fine. But basically what I need to do now is I need to take that 16 pints and focus in on turning that into cups and then adding that to my 1 cup right here. So I'll take my 16 pints, and I know that there are 2 cups in every pint, and I know I'm going from a bigger unit of measurement, which is pints, and I'm going into a smaller unit of measurement, which is cups. So I'm going from bigger to smaller. I'm going to multiply. So I'll multiply 16 pints times 2, which is the number of pints in 1 cup, or the number of cups in 1 pint, and I get 32. Now, as I remember, I also had that 1 cup that I needed to add to my 32. So I had my 1 cup right here, and I end up with 33. And that is how I got my answer here, 33 cups. 16 pints, 1 cup equals 33 cups. Let's go take a look at the next page right now. Table shows the amount of paint left in each jar. Which jar contains the greatest amount of paint? And the least. Now, boys and girls, you would have converted these all into the same unit of measurement. You could have done pints or cups or fluid ounces. And once you did that, you were able to compare them together. What I would prefer that you do here is write an answer sentence, which hopefully most of you did. And I would have just said the jar that contains, or even better, you could say the purple jar contains the greatest amount of paint. That's what I always said for this first one right here, that first answer sentence. So I'll put that over here so you remind you. That's what I'd like to see. The second answer sentence is about the least. So I would say that the blue jar contains the least amount of paint. Make sure you use those as answer sentences like that, using the words greatest and least in there. I really like seeing answer sentences. It helps me to know that you're fully engaged in understanding what the question's about. So good job if you did that, boys and girls. On number 8, right down here with the model math, and I'm going to have to clear out those answer sentences now. Write about a real world situation that can be solved by converting customary units of capacity. And on this one, boys and girls, what I'm going to do is, there's a big variety here. So this is my accountability for you today. After this, I'm going to be asking you to submit a Flipgrid video, and I want you to tell me your word problem that you came up with here, and I want you to tell me how you solved it. So give me the answer sentence. So on this one right here, boys and girls, on number 8, your accountability, instead of filling out a survey today, is you're going to be going on to Flipgrid, and you are going to, and by the way, don't tell me that your problem is a cook needs to use a measuring cup to obtain 1 1/2 pints of milk. How many cups are in 1 1/2 pints of milk? 3 cups is the answer. If you give me that word problem, I will know you copy that right off of here. But you're pretty much given flexibility to do any sort of problem where you're converting cups to pints, or pints to gallons, or fluid ounces to gallons, or gallons back down to cups. It's up to you. But you do need to submit that to Flipgrid today, so that I see what real world math problem or word problem you used in this assignment. We're going to move on. Vocabulary check. Make sure you finish these answer sentences out. Cups would be the most appropriate customary unit to measure the capacity of a hot chocolate mug, because a cup is like Mr. H's teacup. It's about that size. Gallons would be the most appropriate customary unit to measure the capacity of a swimming pool, because it doesn't say precise. Here it says appropriate, meaning when you've got a lot of liquid, like in a swimming pool, you want to go with a big unit of measurement like gallons. You're going to have lots and lots of pints, and people would measure liquid in a swimming pool using gallons. Capacity is a measure of how much a container can hold. Weight is how heavy it is. And then our final one here is the average person drinks 16 ounces of milk a day. At this rate, how many gallons will a person drink in a leap year? They gave you a pro tip here that that's 366 days. All right, this one was a little tricky, boys and girls. So I want to go over how we solved that. How did we end up with 45 3/4 gallons? By the way, if you gave me an answer sentence on this one, awesome, versus just giving me the letter C. I'm going to write out an answer sentence just so you know. I'll say at this rate, a person, and I am running out of space right here, so I may just type this up so it's a little bit easier for us to see instead of me squishing. So at this rate, a person will drink blank. Well, we already know the answer, 45 3/4 gallons. And it looks like, did they tell us about, oh yeah, of milk in a leap year. If you did that kind of an answer sentence, yay, that's exactly the kind of answer sentence I want to see with all those words in there versus just say the answer was C. Now the other question I have, I do have a little bit more space here where I can work this out, so I wanted to use that. How did I end up with 45 3/4 gallons? What I did is, and I'm going to put some lines in here so you kind of see where I'm going with this. I know that the average person drinks 16 ounces of milk a day. So first thing I'll do is I'll just multiply the 16 by the 366. When I take 366 multiplied by 16, I'm going to just do it really quick here. Ooh, this is a long one. 36 plus 3 is 39. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 3 is 21. 2,196. Add a zero bomb. 366 times 1 is 366. I'm going to get 6, 15, 8, 5. So it's 5,856 ounces of milk. Whew, that's a lot of milk when you look at it like ounces. Now I can show that same amount, 5,856 ounces, also in gallons. These are ounces. And I want to convert it into gallons. Ounces are smaller than gallons, so I'm going from smaller to bigger. Shakes, buys, donuts. Smaller to bigger, I'm going to divide. So I'll be dividing that 5,856 by the number of ounces that are in 1 gallon. Ooh, I have to remember my chart, boys and girls, and go back and take a look at that, about how many ounces are in 1 gallon. Let me pause, and then I'll come right back and tell you that answer, because I don't have it off the top of my head. And that's okay if you have to look up answers sometimes, boys and girls. So let me do that right now, and then I'll go ahead and get back to you. Okay, after taking a quick look, I remembered that it was 128 ounces are in 1 gallon. So what I'll be doing is I'm going to go ahead and divide that out. And I think I have enough room on my paper here to make sure I do some nice sideways dividing. I'm going to take 5,856 ounces and divide it by 128. And I already am pretty sure that I'm going to get this one right because I've already got the answer. So I'll take 128 times 4. I'm going to multiply that out quickly over here. I'll get 3, 7, 773. So I'll drop down the 6 right here. I'm going to multiply that by 5. So 128 times 5. I'm going to multiply that out here. 14, 1, 640. 13 minus 4 is 9. 96 is my remainder. They're really making you work on this one, boys and girls. 96 over 128 is my fraction. If I simplify that down, I can simplify it down all the way so that I get 3/4. And I would do that, let me see here. How would I have simplified that down to get 3/4? Something divided by 128 would equal 4. And something divided by 96 is going to equal 3. Well, 120 times 4 is 512. Let me do some quick math right here. 128 divided by 4. So 32. So I'm dividing by 32. And that equals 3/4. So boys and girls, I am really proud of you if you work this all the way out like Mr. Yates did, because that means you're showing perseverance with solving a problem. And good job. I'm really proud of you for doing that, boys and girls. So I'd like you today, instead of writing a survey, I'd like you to go to Flipgrid today. And remember I told you back there at the beginning, or back at question 8, I want you to go to Flipgrid and I want you to tell me about the word problem that you created to show how to convert customary units of capacity. That means ounces, or fluid ounces, pints, cups, or gallons, and quarts. If you could do that for me, boys and girls, I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. And make sure you also tell me how you would solve it. Thanks, boys and girls, for checking your math assignment today. Bye-bye.